Are you serious? Are you serious? Hang on a second. Testing 1, 2. Okay. Are you serious? Are you serious? We're live from Jerusalem. It's getting crazy here, and could be a long, long night. I was told by my cab driver, Paul, stay in tonight. Don't get out tonight. There's a lot going on. We appreciate your prayers. We want to say God bless all of you. Shalom, shalom from Jerusalem. But this is serious. And I just want to say right now, up front, right now, this according to my cab driver, who is a Muslim, a good friend of mine. I've been using him as my cab driver for 5 years. Takes me everywhere I want to go. Can speak Arabic. He speaks Israeli, Hebrew, and speaks English. And he's been doing this for 40 years. He said to me, this reminds me of 2006. This could be a very, very bad day. And he said, Pastor Begley, please stay in tonight. Don't get out in the streets of Jerusalem. Just stay at the hotel. And the next 48 hours, according to the reports that we're getting, is very, very serious. Now, hundreds of rockets have been fired into Israel. I want to thank, first of all, Sister Heidi, and I want to thank, first of all, everyone that's watching. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for being faithful and standing with us, okay? Thank you so, so much. Let me also say right now, let me put a shout out to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. Now, you may not know much about Holland, but it is one of the world's greatest trading nations and has been involved in the commerce for hundreds of years, okay? The Dutch National Bank holds over $20 billion worth of gold. What? In its vaults, which are scattered around the world for safety. It has recently been buying more, and on its website, it says that gold always retains its value, crisis or no crisis. Now, they're expecting the trouble, big financial trouble, and you should be too. Will your personal IRA still hold their value in a financial meltdown? If you don't know the answer to this question and still hold, then you don't have ownership or understand or control even of your own retirement savings. This leaves you at the mercy of the stock market, and that's not a great place to be when it's all going wrong. So many people got their financial hands burned in the last big meltdown, okay? So if you expect to stay safe, you have to look to yourselves and not put all your hopes in Washington and the feds. Matter of fact, find out how you can secure your IRA and 401k, get a tax break at the same time, and take back control by calling noblegoldinvestments.com. Call today. The phone number, 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Or hit the link below to get the Learn About Gold video series. Just pick up the phone and call Colin Plume or one of his representatives at 877-646-5347 and ask to speak to one of these representatives today. Make sure you tell them that Paul Begley sent you. All right, folks. Well, let me just tell you what's going on. I want to thank all of you that are with me live. Heidi has already gone live twice today at 2:30 in the morning because what happened is Israel at 4 a.m. Israeli time, Israel went into Gaza with an airstrike, killing the leader of the Islamic Jihad, killing him, his wife, injuring his daughter, and I think another, maybe two of his children, okay? Now, also, Israel flew in near Damascus, Syria, and was trying to kill the leader of the Islamic Jihad of Syria. But instead, they killed his son and his daughter. How did they kill his daughter too or injure? Okay, killed his son and injured his daughter, but he escaped, okay, in Syria. Now, this has created absolute chaos. There's been rockets firing. The sirens have literally been going off all day long. It just so happened I didn't know about it. And I got in the car with my Arabic Muslim cab driver, my good friend, and he was listening to the news, which he never does. And we took off because I needed to go and interview 3 rabbis. And they were way out there. 2 of them were way out there in the middle of Israel. Matter of fact, one of them was located in a village which was only 10 miles from where one of the rockets fell. I didn't know this. And I said, what's going on? And I kept hearing sirens going off, like bomb sirens on his phone. He said, they're firing rockets everywhere. I've never heard anything like this. It's unbelievable. And all day long, rocket sirens going off on his red alert phone. Also, an F-16 fighter jet flying over top our head while we were driving toward, we were in Modena, okay, headed toward Jerusalem. Now, Heidi has confirmed to me that the F-16 fighter jet flew over top of our hotel here in Jerusalem as well. And I'm sure that those guys are keeping the skies safe right now, because when you kill the Islamic Jihad leader, when you kill the leader of the Islamic Jihad in Hamas, you're going to have a retaliation. And here's what's unbelievable about this. Benjamin Netanyahu is still the prime minister of Israel. This is the second round. They can't get a government formed. It's actually the third time, because they had an election in April. And Netanyahu couldn't form one then. He can't form one now. And now Benny Gantz is trying to form one. He can't seem to he couldn't either. And Netanyahu goes and hires his arch rival, Naftali Bennett, and makes him the defense minister. And this first day on the job, today, he does an airstrike with the blessing of Benjamin Netanyahu and kills the Islamic Jihad leader of Gaza and his wife, and injures his 2 of his children. And then makes a strike in Syria and near Damascus, tries to kill the Islamic Jihad leader of Syria, but misses him, but kills his son and injures his daughter of that leader. Plus, I'm hearing that there's other Islamic leaders that may have been killed. This is chaos in the situation. Now, we've got some information here. Jerusalem Jane, which I have interviewed Jerusalem Jane. It's been 3 or 4 years since I interviewed her. But she came out with a statement that I want to read. Heidi got this for me. And Jerusalem Jane, who's been living here in Jerusalem for at least 4 years, she wrote these words: massive attack in Israel. She said, "Dear friends around the world, things here in Israel are serious. This morning at 4 a.m., the Israeli Air Force killed the Islamic Jihad leader inside the Gaza Strip. He has been the mastermind of numerous attacks on the Israeli civilians and IDF soldiers. The intelligence agency has been following him for a long time because they knew he was planning new and massive attacks on the nation of Israel. So this morning, the IDF cut the head of the snake off." Now, on the top of that, the IDF attacked another Islamic Jihad leader in Damascus, but he survived and his son was killed. So as retaliation, many rockets, hundreds of rockets, folks, have been hammering into Israel. We have had code red sirens going off all the way up to Tel Aviv. One rocket landed just south of Tel Aviv, and one rocket shot over Tel Aviv and landed north of it. So far, no alarms have went off in Jerusalem, but in Modena, that is about 25 miles away, there was a massive escalation. 2 million people throughout Israel is home from work. Schools have been canceled. No trains are running. Buses are not running. And she said, I made a live broadcast over at Facebook page giving a deep explanation into everything. I just uploaded it to my YouTube channel also. You can watch it there. Only because people are running for their lives into bomb shelters, no one has been killed today. When direct hits were reported in buildings, one rocket smashed into a highway. Only by a miracle it missed these 2 cars. I've saw that videotape. It is absolutely a miracle it missed these 2 cars. This is very serious. The IDF is expecting several days of unrest here in Jerusalem or in Israel. Only time will tell how bad this is going to be. The IDF has told Hamas to stay out of this, but most likely that won't happen. and Iran is even directing everything happening in Gaza. A delegation from Egypt are now on the way to Gaza to try to calm things down with the Islamic Jihad. And the Islamic Jihad has declared war at Israel. More response will come from them, that is certain. And as the Danish citizen, and that's what Jerusalem Jane is, she's a Danish citizen. She said, I got a message from the Danish Foreign Ministry about the rocket attacks in Tel Aviv, and we were told to seek shelter. Right now on TV, they're talking about the response from the Islamic Jihad most likely will explode tonight, folks. And it is nightfall here in Jerusalem. It is right now 7:07 local time here in the city of Jerusalem. It is nightfall. I'm actually going to be sitting out here on the balcony, keeping an eye on what's going on, listening for sirens. They expect there to be massive explosions tonight, and in the next 48 hours, it could be an all-out war. Please keep us in prayer, she goes on to say. So that's Jerusalem Jane, who's from Norway originally, who... is that right? She's from Norway, right? I want to say she's from Norway. Yeah, from Norway. And she lives here in Jerusalem. Now, let me tell you what the news is saying. Thank you guys all for being here. I know I went early a little bit, but I had to. Let me quickly tell you, we've got some information coming in from the Israelis. This is the BBC. Israel has killed the top Palestinian Islamic Jihad militant in Gaza. Here's the deal. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad leader has been killed by an Israeli airstrike. He and his wife are dead. His two daughters or two children injured. His name was Baha Abu al-Atta. That's Baha Abu al-Atta, the leader of the Islamic Jihad in Gaza. He and his wife were killed with an airstrike by the Israeli IDF. Matter of fact, an Israeli airstrike has killed the senior commander of the militant group, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza. Baha Abu al-Atta died along with his wife when a missile hit their home. The group said 4 of their children and a neighbor were reportedly all injured. So 4 children are injured and a neighbor. Israel's prime minister, and the neighbor was actually his bodyguard, and I can tell you, I've later found out he is dead also. Now, Israel's prime minister, Abu al-Atta, was a ticking time bomb who was planning to carry out attacks on the nation of Israel. At least 150 rockets had been fired out of Israel. That was early this morning, folks. It's way more than that now. And some of them have landed in different cities, targeting Ashdod, Ashkelon, Sirdat, Tel Aviv, and I'm telling you, they've got long-range missiles, and I'm sure the Iranians are working close with the Islamic Jihad and the Hamas, And the danger is, what about Hezbollah in southern Lebanon? Because they definitely have some long-range missiles that could reach Jerusalem or Tel Aviv. So there's some tension beyond tension. I've seen some of the footage, some of the destruction of some of these rockets that have landed in a highway in Israel. Now, I was on the highway, and we seen where rockets had landed 10 miles from where I was at today. I was actually interviewing, first of all, Rabbi Harry Moskoff over in the town of Bet Shemesh, where once the Ark of the Covenant was, after it was taken from the Philistines. They gave it back after they had all kinds of tumors on their genitals. They said, please take this thing back. That was after the Ark of the Covenant was sitting in the house of Dagon. Well, where they took it to was to Bet Shemesh. I was there today interviewing Rabbi Harry Moskoff, who some of you may know wrote a very great book, and he signed and gave me a personal copy. See if I had a great interview with him. You'll see the television interview soon. But he wrote this great book, The Ark Report, and had some tremendous insight with that, along with Um, good. You guys know who he is. Mike Huckabee. Okay, Mike Huckabee. This was an award-winning book, and it made a great film also. So anyway, I was in his home. I was interviewing him today. He couldn't believe I even came to his house during the midst of this bombing. But, I wasn't aware of it was going on until I was halfway there, so I went for it. Later, I was in another town called Elad. Is that what it was, Heidi? Elad? Elad, where um, uh, what was it, Rabbi's name, Heidi? Not Moskoff. What's the other rabbi's name? I should know his name. Ovadia. Rabbi Ovadia, who is an expert in Planet X. I interviewed him in his home. Well, one of the rockets landed just 10 miles from his home. They actually saw it in the air today, but no problem for me. And I interviewed him today, and that will be another television show, and you'll see that coming up. That's a great interview as well. Then I interviewed Rabbi Yehuda Glick in Jerusalem. No problems. Okay, another great interview. That'll be a television show also. You'll see that. I got some great insight, but I can't. I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna let that all come out. It has to do with the Temple Mount. Has to do with what's under the Temple Mount. It has to do with the political environment of Israel. It has to do with Planet X, Iran, all kinds of stuff. Okay, I will share this information with you. 17 Israelis have already been slightly wounded, folks, in rocket attacks across the south, according to the Brazili Medical Center in the city of Ashkelon. Now, I was only 20 miles from Ashkelon, but I didn't go there. Medics said 8-year-old girl was also in serious condition after collapsing as her family rushed towards the bomb shelter when an air raid siren sounded south of Tel Aviv. Around the same time as the attack, Abu al-Attah, 2 people were killed and 10 injured in an Israeli airstrike on the home of another Palestinian Islamic Jihad leader in the Syrian capital of Damascus. Syria's state news agency is now reporting that. So 17 Israelis have already been injured from the bombs that have exploded in the town, near the town of Ashkelon. And like I said, I was within 20 miles of Ashkelon. I was within 10 miles of one of the bombs that went off outside of Ilan, which was, again, a suburb outside of Tel Aviv. Okay, I didn't think I'd ever get in that close, but, I didn't have no idea this was going to happen today. I just didn't have any idea this would happen today. I left the hotel. Heidi wasn't feeling well. She stayed back, and I left the hotel, and I went on to do these interviews. And halfway to our first place, begin to realize that we have bombs exploding all over Israel. I want to say to Rhonda Epson, she had a dream a year ago that when Paul Begley goes to Israel, something prophetic is going to happen. It's very significant. She posted that on her YouTube channel about a year ago. And as it got closer to the time for me to come and to bring my tour group, people reminded her of that dream. And she was being bombarded with people saying, what is it? What do you think is going to happen? Pastor Paul Begley is getting ready to go to Israel. Do you think it's going to happen? I actually picked up the phone and called and tracked her down and called Rhonda. Her and I had a great conversation. She said, Pastor, I have no idea what's going to happen while you're there, but something's going to happen according to the dream. Okay? Believe me, it's from the Lord. Something's going to happen. And I just want you to know. So the first 2 or 3 days we were here, I think it was the second day I was here, 10 rockets were fired out of out of Gaza into Israel. And I thought, is this it? And then everything calmed down, quieted down, everything was fine. So I thought, nah, that's probably not. And we were here the whole time. My tour was here. We had a great tour. Nothing happened. Beautiful. There was peace in Jerusalem. The weather's been spectacular. And we sent the people back home. And I'm about, my visit here is almost over. Today's the day I have to interview 3 rabbis in 3 different cities, and I got to drive all over Israel. This is the one day that I'm going to be out there the most, and that's the day that the rockets are flying. Somebody just said 190 rockets have flied out of Gaza, and that may be true. I think it's more than that, to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you, this thing is going to get ugly tonight. Now, get this. That was Rhonda's dream. Now, last week, Marty Breeden had a dream. He saw bombs falling toward Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. He was extremely disturbed, and he knew that Iran was behind it. And he contacted us. We got a hold of him. I interviewed him, and it's on my YouTube channel, and you can go back a few days and you can watch it and listen to it. And here I am almost ready to leave. I'm supposed to leave here Thursday. This is Tuesday. And all hell is breaking loose. And I'm hoping I can get out of the country on Thursday. I'm hoping I can. But there's no guarantee. Because according to my taxi driver, who's lived here his whole life, he said, Pastor, this feels like 2006 again. This feels like an intifada. I'm telling you, I'm afraid it's going to get very, very ugly. So I want to say that Rhonda Epson obviously has prophetic dreams, no doubt about it. And also Marty Breeden obviously has prophetic dreams also, which I already knew that with him because I've already seen 5 or 6 of his dreams come true. And obviously, Sister Heidi and I are here for a reason, for such a time as this. And guess who else is here? Dr. Irvin Baxter. And I just had breakfast with him yesterday morning. And he said, we're here for such a time as this. Folks, I'm telling you, we're living in the last days. We're living in the end times. Now, I don't have any fear at all. I mean, literally, I have no fear. None. I'm not afraid at all. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I was driving around today. Bombs are flying. F-16 fighter jets were flying over my head. Heidi said an F-16 flew over top of the hotel here. It shook the hotel. She heard it. Sirens have been going off all day long. And tonight is going to be an ugly night. Tonight is going to be a very, very ugly night in Gaza. But who knows where else? The Iranians have sworn that they're going to revenge the death of the Islamic Jihad. And what about Syria? Is this going to be the destruction of Damascus? Isaiah 17. Folks, I'm going to be right back in just a moment. Let me get a song. We'll be right back in just a moment with more live from Jerusalem. Brock is not with me tonight, but I'll be right back live. I'm saying tonight because it's 7:20 here, but I know it's 12:20 there. I'll be right back live from Jerusalem with the coming apocalypse. Seriously, guys, can you guys now hear? Can you hear Jerusalem's cry?
Can you hear Jerusalem's cry? Can you see the storm on the rise? Look around, you can't deny this is the hour of heaven's time. Armies gathering in the east for the war that's soon to come. Death will march with the beast, so seek the light and walk with the sun. Soon we'll see his wrath come down living in the end times. Soon we'll see his wrath come down and the Lord descending from the sky. When you hear the trumpet sound, God has answered Jerusalem's cry. God has answered Jerusalem's cry. Soon the dead in Christ shall rise and join him in the sky. Even unbelievers will see God has answered Jerusalem's cry. God has answered Jerusalem's cry.
Guys, there's something going on outside. I'm gonna come back later, okay? I'll be back later. God bless everybody.